Well, it's 6 o'clock. They had to catch up with us. Good afternoon. Good evening, everybody. Council meeting for City of Pasadena, December 19, 2016 at 6 p.m. We'll begin, and I'm sure everybody else will be joining us. Mr. Ernesto, if you'll give us the prayer, and Cody Wooler, when he gets here, he'll lead us in the pledges.
Good and loving God, we pause this evening to give thanks, to share our burdens, and to pray for our city and this mayor and city council. We pray for all elected officials entrusted with the honorable calling of public service. Keep them pure of heart. We pray for the residents of this city and the constituents we serve. For all those seeking full, meaningful employment, we pray for work. For all those seeking education, we pray for powerful teachers. For all those seeking peace, train us to work for justice. Loving Father, bless the work that is before this mayor and city council today. In your holy name, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, sir.
Please join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Mr. Wooler, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight and wish everyone a Merry Christmas coming up. Also, we have City of Pasadena operates in a lot of different areas, and Commissioner Ellis actually has a precinct get-together where he's inviting a lot of different community leaders, elected officials from our city out. So tomorrow night at 6 o'clock at the Hardy Senior Center, if you can make it, please be there. With that, I'll pass.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Caton?
I'd like to thank everyone for coming out and being a part of city government tonight. I'd like to say congratulations to Mr. Ross Majors, Mrs. Steve Thomas for their service awards. Also like to recognize Mr. Clyde Fitzgerald. I see he's out in the audience from the ILA and one of our port commissioners. Thank you for your service. Also, Merry Christmas to everyone and have a Happy New Year. With that, I pass.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Bass?
Good evening. My voice is coming back, but I'm much better. Anyway, I feel like I'm 13 again. I want to thank y'all, everybody, for coming out. We've got 70 degrees out there. It's supposed to get about 35, I think, on Christmas Day. Maybe we'll have snow again. So we're crossing our fingers, just not real slushy. I wanted to make a comment. The city of Pasadena, Ms. Jomi Bloomrich, we just recently received Certificate of Achievement for Excellent in Financial Reporting. That's big words for good math, I think. And so anyway, and I think the city has enjoyed this pleasure before. So congratulations to the financial department. Also, I wanted to speak to our Salvation Army, the folks that get out there and ring the bell. We appreciate it. We were a little low this year. I was talking to the lieutenant, and the Salvation Army really needs your help. The funds are down. Don't know if it's because of the storm or anything, but if you have a little extra in 2018, remember the Salvation Army. They really, really do a lot of good work in our community, and so that would really help. We also have a neighborhood association, January the 11th, from 6 to 7:30. Get to learn how to work with your neighborhoods, your homeowner associations, and it's a great thing to get out there and do that. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas I want to thank y'all for coming tonight. I want to ask that may God bless you and your family, that you have a blessed 2018. And with that, I pass.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Sandman?
I would like to say Merry Christmas to everyone. I'd like to also recognize Ms. Pat Riley, former councilwoman, and Mr. Emilio Carmelio. Hopefully I said that right. Everybody messes up my name, so I'm sorry, Emilio. But thank you all for being here tonight. A couple of things I want to recognize this evening is had the wonderful opportunity to participate with our employee city luncheon held out at the convention center. And that was a wonderful experience to see all of our team members come together for a celebration, a meal of appreciation, and to learn about the folks and what jobs they do and how they perform the work within the city, and just to see the laughter and the smiles of the folks gathered around round tables sharing with each other. The other thing, myself and Councilman Lehman had the great opportunity to participate with was Officer Santa over at Campbell Hall. And there was over 400 children that were impacted through this program in partnership with our Pasadena police officers and the Community Officers Division. I would say there was probably close to about 1,200 people in line by the time you count siblings and parents and, friends of different folks showing up. And the one thing that really stood out to me more than anything was the kids' smiles and their way that their eyes just lit up, believing that somebody cared about them. And it all came from our Pasadena officers. As they were out and about on the streets, they recognized certain families that were in need or had loss or tragedies. And these guys, I can tell you firsthand, our officers are the best in the world. And the way that they opened their hearts and they opened their arms, these guys were in their uniforms, their badges, their blue uniforms, gun belts on. And these kids almost had tears in their eyes because they were getting a gift from somebody that cared. Now think about it. You're a kid on the street. I'd be intimidated if I saw a guy walk up to me with a gun and a badge, sometimes. But these kids, they were so loving. And what a wonderful way to get our community and officers together. To me, that was a true blessing, and it touched my heart. Our volunteer fire department, they were out on the fire engines, and they were driving through the neighborhoods, and it started raining and pouring. But these guys still drove around through neighborhoods and kids being excited. Folks, if you don't get the point of my message tonight, it's about family and kids. Yes, Jesus is the reason for the season. We are all very blessed, but it begins with our kids and it begins with our hearts. And then finally, on an economic note, we welcome a new business here in town, Outback Steakhouse. They had their ribbon cutting ceremony and they're open for business. So if you want to try another restaurant, Outback Steakhouse is open and we've got more to come. And with that, Mayor, I pass.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Villarreal.
Thank everybody for being here tonight. I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I'd like to thank all our law enforcement who are here today. Keep them in their thoughts and prayers through the times when we're celebrating and they're working. The same for our military, our families, and they're out, protecting our country. I always keep them in my thoughts and prayers, and with that, I pass.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Lehman?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to welcome everybody to our council meeting tonight, and I also want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And as Councilman Shane Bine said, the Officer Santa program last week was amazing. This was my second year to have some participation in that, and our Community Services Division of the Police Department does an amazing job with this, as well as all of our police officers. But this is amazing. I mean, the looks on these kids' faces, it was priceless. And another event that I went to recently, the Mount Vernon Civic Club had their annual Christmas parade, and we had a fire truck out there and couple of officers from community services, and that was a real good event. Everybody really enjoyed it. And with that, I pass.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Harrison?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody, and, have a safe and happy holiday. Now, I hope they put out what days the city be closed. It's 2 days. What days are they?
Friday and Monday.
Friday and Monday. I'm glad to get that out for our people that put out their garbage, which I did last time, but we get it all corrected. Thank you, Mayor. I need to get that out. I want to thank Fire Station number 3. They went out with Santa and the fire trucks, and that is the community spirit. To see people and their kids come out and take pictures of Santa, that makes me Pasadena proud to see families enjoy that. And I sincerely want to thank Pasadena Fire Station number 3. They work hard and they're deserving. And Clyde Fitzgerald, Port Commissioner, ILA, we go back a long time. When we moved in Pasadena office on Shaw, when my brother was mayor, we had a lot of trying times. You remember the lobbying for the Port Commissioner? We had to go to Austin. We did a good job. We got it done. And Rick Lord, legislated for Plumbers Local. Good to see you again, sir. And now he introduced me, but he didn't give his name, or I forgot his name. The executive director of the FLCO. Can you mention his name again?
Lacey Wolf.
Leaky Wolf. Well, it's good to see you here, sir. Leaky?
Lacey.
Lacey?
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you, sir. Wolf, okay. Well, thank you all for coming, and the police officers tonight, I'm glad you are out in force. And Pasadena's finest, we're going to see tonight what they think about the finest. So the vote will be coming up soon. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Casados.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you guys for coming out this evening. I'd like to extend a thank you to the mayor, and we had numerous people out this last Monday working on Preston, trying to get Christmas lights up. I'd asked the mayor if he could help give me a hand, and he got the Parks department out there. We had a neighborhood network division out there putting up lights, and we also had United Rentals donated their time to help us hang those lights up on Preston. It looks really nice. This is the second year we've done that. And I tell you what, it just boosts the morale of the neighborhood. I mean, this is the time of happiness and celebrating Jesus Christ, and I think people just really enjoy that. They see the lights, and it makes them, I tell you what, I think I see more people putting lights up in the neighborhood nowadays, and it's really, really something to see. To police officers and fire department and all the volunteers that have helped out in all the city functions, giving children gifts, I tell you what, that's a blessing. I think every day, we ought to be thankful for everything that we have, because there's always someone less fortunate than we are. And again, I think those children really appreciate it, and kudos to you all. That I pass, Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, citizens wanting to speak to council. Larry Peacock.
Hello there. My name's Larry, and I'm really glad to be here. Merry Christmas, everybody. Everybody in the audience out there. What a year it's been. We got a new city government. We got a lot to be thankful for. A new mayor. We've got a new bus service back. I like that. Thank you. Been fighting hard for that one. It was something we really needed. We got rid of that lawsuit thing. I hope that's gone forever. That was a really crazy thing, and too bad we had to have that happen in the first place. I'm here tonight because I'm fulfilling a promise that I had made, and this affects everybody in Pasadena, north side, south side, east side, west side, and right in the middle. Everywhere I've gone, people have talked to me and told me that some of the problems they're having is speeders up and down their streets. People are wanting speed pads, they're wanting speed bumps, they're wanting this or that. Some of the people I've talked to want to see an ordinance change.
I've talked to Police Chief Espinosa. I've talked to the Crime Committee. And police do not make laws or ordinances. They enforce them. And it has to come from City Council and the mayor's office. I'd like to see the speed limits in residential sections reduced from 30 miles an hour to a maximum of 20. Only in the residential areas. In other areas, our major traffic streets and stuff, north, south, east, west, those traffic has got to move. We don't want to change those speed limits. But do we need 30 mile an hour in the streets where our children, where my grandchildren play, where they run after that ball? They do things out there that are crazy, we know, but 30 miles an hour seems to be a little bit too fast in my neighborhood, and I'd like to see that reduced. And if you want to do a committee thing, you want to have a study, I'll be glad to volunteer for that. And I'm offering it up right now. Again, Merry Christmas, everybody, and council and mayor and everybody out there. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Robert Jeters III.
Good evening, gentlemen. I've got no city mismanagement to point out today. I just wanted to say Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you, sir. Joseph Thomas.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council.
Good evening.
Actually, I want to start off a little bit different than I had planned to. There's a lot of gentlemen and ladies here in uniform tonight. Mayor, you know that in our past communications, I've worked with law enforcement throughout the Harris County area for many, many years, and some of those gentlemen are here tonight, and they are such a great group of folks. I cannot say enough good words about these men and women in our police department. Some of these council members have called them the finest, and they really are. You know, you go around the state, and I've talked to folks outside of the state of Texas, and two things I'm very proud to admit is that I'm from Pasadena because of our police and fire departments. You just can't get any better. It was February the 3rd, 1943, and the U.S. Army transport ship Dorchester was one of 3 ships in a convoy, moving across the Atlantic from Newfoundland to an American base in Greenland. A converted luxury liner, the Dorchester was crowded to capacity, carrying 902 service members, merchant seamen, and civilian workers. Closer to its destination, an officer aboard a German submarine spotted the Dorchester giving orders to fire. The hit was decisive, striking the ship below the waterline, with the initial blast killing scores of men and seriously wounding many more. Through the pandemonium, 4 men spread out amongst the soldiers, calming the frightened, tending the wounded, and guiding the disoriented towards safety. They were 4 Army chaplains: Lieutenant George Fox, a Methodist; Lieutenant Alexander Good, a Jewish rabbi; Lieutenant John Washington, a Roman Catholic priest; and Lieutenant Clark Poling, a Dutch Reformed minister. 75 years later, on February the 3rd, 2018, American Legion Post 521, Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 4395, and Disabled American Veterans Chapter 194, collectively referred to as the Veterans Service Organizations of Pasadena, will host a 4-chaplain ceremony at South Main Baptist Church from 11 to noon. Music selections will be performed by the San Jacinto Community Choir. Colors will be presented by the Pasadena High School JROTC cadets. And PAC 128 will be helping to hand out programs at the event. We would like to personally invite each of you from the City Council to attend the event, as we believe the message of sacrifice is one that is timeless. All citizens of Pasadena and the surrounding area are invited, and we especially hope that members of our local churches are able to attend as well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, presentation of service awards.
Good evening, Mayor, Councilman, and all. My name is Deanna Schmidt. I am Interim Director of Planning here at the City of Pasadena. The Planning Department and I are very proud to honor 2 long-term planning commissioners who are recently stepping down. The Planning Commission is a 9-member board appointed by the mayor and confirmed by the City Council. Commissioners are Pasadena citizens who are dedicated to improving the quality of life in the city. The commission helps to shape how the city looks and how it functions. Mr. Steve Thomas is an architect with Thomas and Horn Architects, has provided leadership and guidance to the Planning Commission for over 32 years. He served as the chairman of the commissioner for well over a decade. As an architect, commissioner, and community leader, Mr. Thomas has left an indelible mark on the city. Unfortunately, Mr. Thomas is unable to join us today. We will be sure to present his award to him soon. But please join us in celebrating Mr. Thomas's 32 years on the Planning Commission. Mr. Royce Measures is a retired pastor with Golden Acres Baptist Church. He has served Pasadena with integrity and grace. Serving as commissioner is not always an easy job. We frequently face complicated and difficult decisions, and in all cases, Dr. Measures has provided intelligent consideration and fairness. Mr. Measures, would you join me at the front? Congratulations to Dr. Measures on his 8 years. On behalf of the Planning Department, I offer a gracious thank you to both of you and best wishes during the holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Presentation of minutes, December 5th, 2017.
Motion.
Motion Lehman, second Shanebine. Any question? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Progress payments.
Motion.
Motion Caton. Second Bass. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Finance resolutions. Motion Shanebine, second Villarreal. Any questions? Yes, sir.
I'd like to abstain from anything in regards to Bass County.
Yes, sir. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The appointing to the new Planning and Zoning Commission.
Point of information there. Well, that personnel changes.
Oh, you're right. Thank you, sir. Personnel changes A and C. Motion Lehman. Second Bass. Any questions?
Yes, Mayor.
Go ahead, sir.
We got 2 employees the city of Houston I'm ready to support. Number one, thank you, sir. Number one, the Parks and Recreation Director. This is the 15th employee that we've hired from the city of Houston, and it's more. And it's kind of like political patronage, and we got qualified people from Pasadena we can hire. This individual for Parks and Recreation is qualified in Parks only. He doesn't have any background in the Recreation Department, and I feel like we got some qualified people in Pasadena, and I wish they would hire more people in Pasadena. And then the other lady, I read her resume, and I don't know why she would put it down there, but she put on a resume, worked in Mayor Wagner's campaign.
Sir, she's been deferred. We're not voting on her at all.
Well, I got it in anyway.
I figured that, sir. That wasn't nice. Don't do it again.
It wasn't nice. Well, that's the truth. But
When it's not deferred, we don't talk about it. Go ahead, sir.
okay, it's deferred. Thank you, sir. But the point is, we're doing too much hiring in the city of Pasadena. People of Pasadena begin to get responsive why don't we hire more people from the city that are qualified? And that's the whole problem, that people begin to talk. They don't like it. It's not Pasadena, it's political patriotism, the way I see it. And so we need to start looking, because after the first of the year, we're going to have to make some major decisions on who we hire and who we keep. And I pass.
Thank you, sir.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
in regards to the gentleman over the parks, I had the opportunity to speak to him. He's a fine individual. I spoke to him about 45 minutes to an hour. He is over about 18,000 acres, I think, about 80 parks. Never met him, interviewed him, interviewed of many, many people. First impression is really, really good. I think he comes from a good background. He's got the credentials. There were other people that were on the interview process, not just him. And I'll be supporting the young man.
Thank you, sir. Any other
Mayor.
questions? Yes, sir, go ahead.
I also had the opportunity to visit with this candidate for 45 minutes to an hour as well. And my first concern was for the growth of Pasadena and its parks and recreation departments. One of the things that this individual is going to bring is he has an extensive background with botany and horticulturists, and he has numerous degrees. He served for 8 to 10 years in parks with the city of Houston, over 800 acres, 1,800 acres, and you know, we have wetlands area in our area called Armand Bayou. And he brings some specific expertise to that area as well. That does not negate some of his other responsibilities that would be for, you know, our recreation, our softball fields, baseball fields, and things like that to enhance those. So I'll be supporting this candidate after, you know, I've deliberated on this for about 2 weeks now.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions?
Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's correct. This individual that is on the agenda for hiring today, he is qualified in the area of botany. He has a few degrees in botany and dealing with plants. At the city of Houston, he is a natural resource manager. I'm a horticulturalist. When I sat down with the mayor at the beginning of his term, we talked about our vision for the Parks Department, and the first thing that we agreed on and came out of our mouths was programming. That is bringing more programs, Little League, softball, doing more events, live events with bands, musicians, things for the community to be involved with. Nothing on this individual's resume shows me he has any experience with programming. I think he's very qualified to be a botanist. I think he has a lot of experience with plants. But that's not what this position is. Furthermore, we do have Armand Bayou, but that is not run by the city. That is not a city function. And so I think that we could be doing something, we could find a better individual that would deal with programming. And for that, I'll be voting no.
Thank you, sir. Any other question?
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I also had the opportunity to meet with this gentleman, and I like his qualifications. One thing that I was concerned about was youth sports, soccer, basketball, baseball, things like that. I got the assurance from him that he is a supporter of youth sports, and I will be supporting this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. We've got 3 noes, Harrison, Castelos, and Wheeler. Motion passes. Brings us down to the mayor's report, final readings. Madam Secretary? Actually, let me go back to my appointments. Planning and zoning.
Motion.
Got a motion, Bass. Second, Lehman. Any questions?
Mayor?
Yes, sir.
On this, I would just like to see, I know we talked about in the past, I would like to see some more involvement from council. Council is not made aware of when these positions are opening up or any recommendations taken with names. And so in the future, I would like to see a little outreach from the mayor's office to council members to get input, maybe people from around the city and in different districts. That'll pass.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes. Now, Madam Secretary, we'll go to our final readings.
Ordinance 2017-170, contract with D&W Contractors, Inc. for the Thomas Street Reconstruction Project, $893,236.05. Ordinance 2017-175, providing a cost of living increase of 2.0% of base salary for all full-time employees and part-time employees whose standard work hours per pay period is 20 or greater, excluding seasonal lifeguards, and 15 to 20. In addition, for every classified police officer, a market adjustment of 3% for a total classified police officer increase of 5.0%. In addition to the 2.0% cost of living increase described above, non-classified employees shall receive a 1.0% market adjustment for a total increase of 3.0%. Salary structures to be justified quarterly as defined in Exhibits A and B, effective for the pay period January 1, 2018. Ordinance 2017-176, purchase of ammunition for police training from GT Distributors, Inc., $99,255.20. Ordinance 2017-177, rescinding ordinance number 2017-114, which approved a pipeline franchise for Magellan Terminal Holdings, LP, for 36-inch refined products pipeline. Ordinance 2017-179, contract with Brooks Contract, Inc. for the 2018 annual sidewalk replacement project, $409,344.60. Ordinance 2017-180, contract with D&W Contractors, Inc. for the 2018 annual drainage and paving replacement project, $1,399,398. Ordinance 2017-181, accept grant funds from the Houston-Galveston Area Council for fire and arson, environmental crimes, and illegal dumping investigations. Ordinance 2017-182, extending the contract with Acadian Ambulance Service for ambulance and emergency medical services. Ordinance 2017-183, agreement with PS Lightwave, Inc. to provide 2 network communication lines between the city and Houston Transfer for the sharing of live traffic feed. Ordinance 2017-184, approved renewal of Avaya maintenance contract for city's Avaya phone system and Audix answering system.
Motion.
Motion Shanebine, second Bass. Any questions?
Yes, Mayor.
Go ahead, sir.
Madam Secretary?
Yes, sir.
I will be voting no on number O.
We're not there
What?
yet.
Okay.
Okay, I stand corrected. Didn't change my mind, but I stand corrected. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. First readings, Madam Secretary.
Ordinance 2017-185, extend the annual contract with Firetron Inc. for fire extinguisher services.
Motion.
Motion Castelos, second Lehman. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed?
Ordinance 2017-186, approving lead abatement and exterior painting of the Pomeroy House Historic Site by SSCI Environmental Construction and Consulting Services, $94,336.
Motion Castelos,
Second.
second Wheeler. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed?
Ordinance 2017-187, authorizing purchase of an auger and turning target system for the police department from Action Target, Inc., $111,348.77.
Motion Wheeler, second Shanebine. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Pass.
Ordinance 2017-188, accepting, approving, and adopting the evaluation and assessment of industrial district properties lying within the extraterritorial jurisdiction of the city of Pasadena for the 2017 tax year, and based upon the provisions of the contract agreements distributing the applicable funds in the appropriate general fund accounts of the city, providing for a repealing clause and containing a severability clause.
Motion Wheeler, second Caton. Any questions?
Yes, Mayor.
Go ahead, sir.
This is first reading on the industrial district evaluation, and this was passed many years ago in the Manlove administration. I voted no, and what it is a change. The taxes go up on according to the type of construction, how much construction they have. And back then, about 10, 13 years ago, we were getting $15 million. And now, after all these years, we're getting $17 million. And all the new construction, I've been reading that $30 billion worth of new construction is going in, not necessarily there, but on East Harris County. and the contract doesn't expire until 2019, but they're assessed at 65% of the appraised value. 65%. Now the homeowner is assessed 100% of the appraised value. So therefore, I feel like the homeowner is picking up a little bit bigger load, and also the corporation's tax rate is going to go down from 31 or 2% to 21%. So therefore, this contract, we need to keep looking at it, because $17 million in 13 years, and the way I figure, we should be getting a larger amount than that, a great larger amount on it, if they went up to 100% on the excess valuation. And it's in an extraterritorial jurisdiction, so therefore we need to look at that for tax purposes. It's getting tight around here, and we need to get every dollar extra in taxes we can get. That I pass.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions? All in favor? Any opposed?
Ordinance 2017-189, extend the annual contract with Pasadena Auto Collision for vehicle body repair and painting services.
Motion Castelos, second Wheeler. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed?
Ordinance 2017-190, extend the annual contract with Century Asphalt LTD for the purchase of asphalt, emulsified, and tack oil.
Motion Liebman, second Shanebine. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed?
Ordinance 2017-191, extend the annual contract with Great Southwood Paper Company for the purchase of janitorial supplies.
Motion Wheeler, second Castelos. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed?
Ordinance 2017-192, approving the purchase of 38 Alpha Novus 2000 battery backup units, BBUs, from Paradigm Traffic Systems, Inc., $190,000.
Motion Shanebine, second Castelos. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed?
Ordinance 2017-193, approving the contract with A&R Engineering and Testing, Inc. for materials testing services for the 2018 annual paving improvements project, $35,000.
Motion Liebman, second Wheeler. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed?
Ordinance 2017-194, approving the contract with Texas Pride Utilities, LLC for the 2018 citywide sanitary sewer rehabilitation project, $1,307,722.50.
Motion Caton, second Shanebine. Any questions?
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
seems like a lot of money, $1.3 million, but this is what our citizens have asked for, is for the infrastructure to be upgraded and replaced. So for folks to be able to flush their toilets, have drinking water, and the movement of water to be repurified and exited out of the city, this is money well spent.
Thank you, sir. All in favor? Any opposed?
Ordinance number 2017-195, approving the contract with Armadillo Underground Utilities, LLC for the 2018 citywide waterline replacement project, $865,935.
Motion Shanebine, second Wheeler. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed?
Ordinance 2017-196, approving the contract with Reliable Signal and Lighting Solutions, LLC for the 2018 annual traffic mobility improvements project, $113,760.
So moved.
Motion Harrison, second Bass. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed?
Ordinance 2017-197, approving the contract with Johnson LLC for design services for a new municipal courts building, $633,600.
Motion Shanebine, second Villarreal. Any questions?
Yes, Mayor.
Go ahead, sir.
On this project right here, I want to explain some of the details on this project. The old City Hall building goes away. The old police station goes away. Instead of us repurposing and revitalizing old buildings, this is a step for Pasadena to move forward with a brand-new courthouse. And I think that sends a statement throughout this community that, you know, business as usual has changed. The repurposing of buildings is not necessary anymore. And it's going to be, you know, a face lift to our municipal grounds here in this area, and look further for further development as we work toward, you know, eliminating or enhancing this mall that's next to us that's a dinosaur. So I look forward to this being completed as quick as possible, to be a new image and a new icon in the city of Pasadena.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other questions?
Yes, Mayor.
Go ahead, sir.
I inquired this. They got a valuation committee. I believe there's 6 people on the valuation committee that evaluates who they want to give the contract to. And there's no names on there, but I talked to an individual that's working on the project, and he let me know the people on there. And out of the 6 people on the project, there were probably 2 or 3 that I think that are qualified. One of them works out of the mayor's office. I think his specialty is photography. So, and the only person real qualified is the architect, the lady that runs the permits. So, Mayor, I wish from now on you would give us a list of the people on the committee where we can make a further decision on the contract itself. But that the $633,000 is within the 8% range that architects charge for a particular project. So that's figured out the court's going to cost $7.5 or $8 million. So I'm going to vote for it because it falls in that range. But the committee people need to be qualified to serve on that committee. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Ordinance 2017-198, approving renovation of Sunset Swimming Pool by Progressive Commercial Aquatics, Inc., $495,164.
Motion.
Motion Casados, second Bass. Any questions?
Yes, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
I just want to say it's about time for Sunset Swimming Pool. I learned to swim there when I was 10 years old. So that's been some time ago, so that's been a great experience anyway.
Thank you, Mr. Bass. All in favor? Aye. Any questions? Any opposed? Passes.
Ordinance 2017-199, approving the contract with Brooks & Sparks, Inc. for professional services related to right-of-way management services, $100,000.
Motion.
Motion Shanebine, second Bass. Any questions?
Yes, Mayor.
Go ahead, sir.
This is the engineer that's getting the majority of the contract in this town, and he's going to be a consultant on the professional service related to right-of-way management. I just believe there's a conflict of interest, so I won't be supporting him.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions? All in favor?
Mayor?
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Yeah.
To that point, this is a contractor that's getting a lot of contracts, and this is another contract for that contractor to then enforce permits. And so there isn't a conflict of interest that could arise, and so it sets the city up in a situation where it may not be above board. On top of that, there are employees or an employee that also has a contract outside of the city or with the city as a project manager. So you have someone who works for the company as a project manager for the city that's sending contracts to this company, and this company is also doing their own evaluations on the work they're doing. And I think that's getting a little bit convoluted. And so I don't like the way it looks, and I don't like the way it's set up procedurally, so I'll be voting against it.
Thanks, sir. Anybody have any other questions?
Mayor.
Yes, sir.
2 years ago, this council was sitting up here with the same concerns, different council members, different engineering firm, and they wanted a change. So now we have a new contracting firm or engineering firm that wants to do the work, and the same questions come up. When's it going to end? You know, we have to have engineers that perform the work. If not this engineering group, then what engineering group? I mean, there's only certain engineering groups that are qualified to do certain work, and they're very limited in scope. We still have to go out and get the bids. So as long as the bid process works and we get the qualified engineers bidding on the jobs, there is no issue, because 2 years from now, 4 years from now, 8 years from now, the same questions are going to come up that came up 16 years ago. And I'm not going to mention any other engineering groups, but folks that have been around long enough can think of those names, and it's time for us to award contracts to the engineers that are going to get the job done, do quality work, and get our city moving forward.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions? Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so Mr. Shanebine's brought up a very valid point, but at the same time, we got to remember that the professional services are not bid. These are things that are just awarded. And so whenever you have, that's the reason why these issues keep coming up, is because these projects and these engineering firms, they're not bidding anything. They're showed preference by the administration or whatever the case might be. So to answer your question, council member, I don't know if it ever will end. You know, it's just it's the nature of the beast, and that's where we're at. So I pass, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
No.
We got 3 noes, Willard, Casados, and Harrison. Passes.
Ordinance 2017-200, amending ordinance number 2016-115, which adopted the annual budget for the year 2017.
Motion.
Motion Shanebine. Second Harrison. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Resolution 2017-130, approving public auction for the sale of abandoned and confiscated vehicles and surplus city vehicles and equipment to be held on the following Saturdays in 2017: January 20, March 17, May 19, July 21, September 15, November 17.
Motion Casados. Second Bass. Any questions?
Yes, sir, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
A couple of council meetings ago, Councilman Harrison stated nothing is for free. However, this is going to bring some finances back into the city. And, you know, it cost individuals, unfortunately, losing their vehicles. But at least we're going to sell these vehicles and recoup some money to put back in the coffers.
Thank you, sir. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Resolution 2017-131, accepting donations of $250 each from Coastal Flow, A. Powell Locksmith, and Ken Lock Equipment for the 2017 Christmas tree lighting event.
Motion Casados. Second Lehman. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Resolution 2017-132, accepting in-kind donations from various businesses, organizations, or individuals with a total value of $6,050 for the 2017 Christmas tree lighting event.
Motion Bass. Second Casados. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Resolution 2017-133, accepting an in-kind donation of toys valued at $200 from George Herrera's for the Multipurpose Center Christmas party.
Motion Lehman. Second Casados. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Resolution 2017-134, authorizing Parks and Recreation Department to seek funding of $80,322 from Wells Fargo Community Giving Grant to replace the play structure at Sunset Park.
Motion Casados. Second Harrison. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Resolution 2017-135, authorizing the Parks and Recreation Department to seek funding of $30,300 from the Christopher and Dana Reed Foundation Quality of Life Grants Program for the Vern Cox softball field renovations.
Motion Willard. Second Bass. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Resolution 2017-136, accepting a donation $50 from James D. Gagan for employees' Christmas lunch.
Motion Shanebine. Second Harrison. Any questions? Yes, sir.
I'd just like to say thank you to everyone giving donations for the tree lighting. That was a great event, and this is amazing. This is what makes Pasadena such a great place to live. I mean, people give money for the less fortunate, or just to have something that we can all be proud of. So I just want to give thanks to everyone that did that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Absolutely. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And with that, Merry Christmas, and this council meeting is over. Thank you, everybody.